Now, it's clear to say that Tottenham Hotspur have had an underwhelming season in the Premier League so far. They currently sit in a less than mid-table position, and it's been far from the results we've expected. And Ange Postecoglou has had to navigate through injury, illness, and also a lot of criticism about his style of play and the direction he's taking Tottenham Hotspur in this season. So today on the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel, I'm going to be saying what the truth is about Ange Postecoglou at Tottenham. And if you are new to the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel, then drop us a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comments down below. Are you Ange in or are you Ange out? If you're already subscribed to the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel, you'll know I'm a massive fan of Ange Postecoglou. I'm still backing him. I still want him to be at the helm of Tottenham Hotspur. Obviously, there is a lot of criticism coming his way, and that's just because I can still admit that Ange Postecoglou and some of his tactics aren't currently working with the side. We've experienced a lot of injury, which I know some will say is an excuse, but a lot are arguing that it's because of his tactics and system why we are having the injury crisis that we're having. I am still of the thought process that to blame is Daniel Levy. That's who is to blame for the lack of success at Tottenham Hotspur over his 20-year tenure at the club. Ange Postecoglou is just another person who's come along and experienced the harsh ownership from Daniel Levy, Joe Lewis, Enoch, etc. But the reason I wanted to do this video today is because it's another one of my defence videos, really, about Ange Postecoglou, because I still think that despite the criticism, despite some of the poor results, the Newcastle United game showed that we were unlucky. I thought this was more of what we should expect from an Ange Postecoglou Tottenham side. You know, front-footed, a lot of chances, grew into the game and was unlucky not to draw the game level. And, you know, we ended the game with a back four full of fullbacks, which, you know, is far from ideal. You give that to any Premier League manager, I bet they would struggle. But obviously, there was a lot of, as I say, criticism after the game. You know, Ange Postecoglou did his post-match interviews, and you could see the anger in some of the questions he was being thrown at him, and he defended his Spurs side and his Spurs players. And first of all, we actually went for talkSPORT's Sam Matterface.
Ange is in the tunnel here after the defeat to Newcastle. What are your initial reflections on what was again an entertaining game?
Outstanding effort by the players. I couldn't be proud of them. From start to finish, I thought our endeavour, our football, our will to try and play the way we want to, because the situation we're in was just brilliant. And on any other day, on a fair and even playing ground, we would have won that game.
What do you mean by that?
Just that we would have won that game if it was an even and fair playing ground, mate.
What was unfair about it?
I think it's pretty evident what was unfair about it.
Are you unhappy with the officials?
You don't want to have an opinion. You want to ask for my opinion. My opinion is that it wasn't an even and fair playing field. That's it.
What immediately got your goat?
Nothing got my goat. I just love the way my players played. On any other day, that performance would have got the 3 points.
I know you were animated on the touchline, but you had to deal with the fact that you had a serious illness in the camp. You brought in a rookie goalkeeper today, a back four that was eventually made up of players that were playing out of position. How difficult is it to put performances on the board like that when you've got so many issues?
It is difficult, but I don't care who was missing today. I don't care with the challenges. I love the way we played. So that's what I take away from it. And I love the attitude of the players to not make excuses and just deal with what we're dealing with. And against a very good opponent, like I said, on any other day, that would have been a really fantastic win for us as a football club. But unfortunately, it didn't happen.
You say unfortunately it didn't happen. What was lacking at the top end of the pitch?
Nothing was lacking. Our football was brilliant. Everything we did was outstanding, and we deserve to win that game. You don't want to say anything, that's fine. You want me to say something, I'm not. I'm just telling you that today we deserve to win.
Okay, You've got a big Carabao Cup semi-final on Wednesday night. How difficult is it going to be with all the absences?
Well, we'll just go out there and play our football like we did today, and hopefully the playing ground's a lot fairer and more even on Wednesday night.
Only one win in the last 8 Premier League games. How concerning is that?
I love the way we play today, mate. Love the way we play.
Thank you very much. It's Ange Postecoglou, who is joining, and he's not very happy with me because he thinks I'm sitting on the fence there, Adrian. But my job is to ask the questions, and he sort of answered them.
Wow. Wow.
Sam.
Just who we are, mate.
Wow.
Felt sorry for Sam.
Honestly.
He's getting
Sam has done nothing wrong.
No, of course not.
He's done nothing wrong.
He's asked-
Brilliant interview.
Yeah, of course. He's asked the questions.
It's a
And
brilliant interview.
yeah, and Ange is, I feel for Sam there a little bit because, look, he's seething. Ange is seething off the handball situation. He
on,
can't get
Jay.
away from it. He's
Jay,
seething off
Jay,
it.
Jay.
He was fuming with it for
no.
about half hour into the game.
It's
after
not.
it happened.
It's not handball.
Oh, it is, Jay.
It's not handball.
Come on.
On the balance of play, do you think you deserve to get something out of that?
I think on the balance of play, on any balance you want, if all things were equal, we would have won today.
Yeah. And what about the effort, the endeavour of what you put out today, considering all the players that you're missing?
Outstanding. Couldn't be proud of the players, the way we played our football, their attitude, their resilience. Couldn't ask any more of them, and it's a game we would have won if all things were equal.
Their first goal, Newcastle's, what was your take on that? Because I don't think there was much happiness on the bench about the manner of it.
As I said, if all things were equal, we would have won today.
Can you expand on that? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, just if all things were equal and balanced, we would have won today.
But what does that mean? Because it's a bit
That just
ambiguous.
means that things weren't equal and weren't balanced. That's all.
In terms of who you had available, is that what you mean?
If all things were well balanced and equal, and we would have won the game today.
Can I just check? Do you mean that officiating areas?
You can check. You can talk about whatever you want. You don't want to have an opinion. You want my opinion. My opinion is that if all things were even and balanced today, we would have won that game.
And Brennan hits the post in the second half, and another day that goes in, and it's a different feel.
No, we had plenty of chances. Our football was outstanding, considering everything we're going through at the moment. I couldn't be proud of the players, and if it was an even playing field, we would have won that game.
What about Brandon on his debut? Didn't really put a foot wrong.
Yeah, really good, and it's kind of the moments we're going through where we're just putting big tasks on players, and they're rising to the occasion.
And I know that it's a tough run results-wise, but what can you take from that, considering the performance and everyone that you're missing?
Yeah, no, I couldn't be proud of the players. I think it's a performance that deserved the victory, and if all things were fair and equal, we would have won.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And you mentioned in your presser this week, sometimes life just chucks things your way. I imagine off the back of that first half, you'd be feeling like life's chucked some more stuff at you.
No. Far from it. I'm so proud, so happy of this group of players, the way they played, and I'm really angry that they didn't get the rewards they deserve today. Forget who's missing, forget the week. Boys played some outstanding football, really stuck to our principles. Didn't feel sorry for ourselves, didn't make excuses, couldn't be prouder of them, and really angry they didn't get the rewards they deserve.
Yeah, talk us through that then. In terms of the performers out there, what did you like in what you saw?
I liked everything. I loved everything. I loved the fact that, the players were given an enormous task and didn't make any excuses, didn't make any allowances, still tried to play our football, still were aggressive, still created chances, still, played with energy, enthusiasm. I loved all of it.
We've pinned a very good team back in their half, in the second half there, Ange. Look, these players are running on empty, I can say it. And we've created so many chances. We've just spoke to Dom, he says, we believe it. We believe it. That's why we go into the well time and time again. That's what you must be getting off them as well.
As I said, I couldn't be prouder of the players. I thought the football was outstanding. I thought the way we tackled the task, like you said, playing a very good team. We deserve to win the game today.
Can I ask you about that second half defence and exactly what happened that led to Spence playing at centre back, and your thoughts on how well they defended in that second half?
Yeah, they were outstanding. Look, Radu and Archie were in the sick bed all week. And Radu at half time was gone. He just didn't have any more energy. So, we threw Jed in there, we put Reggie on, and again they just took on the task. And along with Brandon, who again only found out yesterday he was playing. They just rolled up their sleeves and got on with it, and couldn't be proud of them.
Quick word on Brandon. I mean, look, he made his debut for under-18s in 2015, and 10 years on almost, he's out there.
Yeah, brilliant. And obviously he's had to be patient, and you never know when these opportunities come around. But they did today, and he handled it really well, and it's a credit to him.
And given that you're getting this level of commitment from the players, that must make you feel confident going into a very tough run, that whatever comes at this team, they're still going to give you absolutely everything that they can. We're now in a really important run.
They're not giving it to me, they're giving it to the club, and they're really committed to sort of what we're doing, and they really care, and they're disappointed, and I can understand the disappointment, and that's why I'm angry, because they deserve to get the victory today.
You can see from these interviews, this is what I mean by the title of The Truth About Ange Postecoglou, because this is who he is. He backs his principles. He knows where he has gone. He has won stuff. And I know a lot of people will throw at me, but he's not done it at a big level. But this is his level now. He is a Premier League manager. I think he's good enough to be at the Premier League. I think a lot of teams in the Premier League would still take Ange Postecoglou if he was to leave Spurs. I am backing him, and I think he is good enough for the job. He is, I feel like with more backing, hopefully in the January and summer transfer markets, he will develop the side that we hope to see. I think the fan base is very split now on Ange's his job at the club. Should he stay, should he go? It is a very big split, and I can see both sides of the coin. I can see the fans who can see that he is not taking the club in the right direction. He's not willing to change his tactics in certain games, especially with the cards he's being dealt with injuries at the moment. And it is not good enough. I feel like there have been moments where his substitutions have been questioned, or should be questioned. His lineups, his in-game management, his closing out games, going 2-0 up and losing leads. You can throw that in his direction, and we have done that with stronger Tottenham sides. But I still believe that this is the way that Tottenham want to play. After having Conte, Mourinho, it didn't work, and that was the short-term sort of win-now managers who didn't really want to be there and were paid extortionate fees to not really bring success. Ange Postecoglou is a project manager. We need to give him time to see success. We've seen it with other managers up and down the Premier League. If you give them time and you give them resources, they can close the gap on the bigger teams. Tottenham are not a big team. There, I said it. I don't think we've dined at the top table a little bit. We've dipped our toe. We've got to a Champions League final, but we haven't won anything for so many years. Like your Evertons, like your Newcastle Uniteds. We are a sort of, take us out of that big six, because we're there based on financial gain, really. That's why we're in the big six. But, we've sort of tried to taste success under Pochettino, but this is our level now. We need to build, and we knew it was going to be a painful rebuild. That's the thing about this. It was never going to be easy. And when you have an owner like Daniel Levy who's not willing to put 110% into this football club, it's going to be a bit of square pegs in round holes. And that's the problem. When we have, certain players, when we get rid of a Harry Kane and we have to bring in other players that are obviously not the same level of him, this is what it is. Son is getting on now. He will have to be replaced. It is what it is. It just means that we were so blessed to have a side that we did under Pochettino that was overachieving. We never really gained off that. And I think I said it after the Liverpool game. There was a moment in that 2017 Liverpool game where we beat them at Wembley, where the two clubs decided to do one thing and another club decided to do another thing. Liverpool went on and achieved a lot. We just sat and stagnated. And it's coming to fruition now. And that's why I want Ange Postecoglou to succeed. I think his principles, his philosophy, his ideas of how to shift the mentality at Spurs are spot on. And you can see it even in the losses, even in the draws, even in the wins, obviously. He is trying to change that, and I still back him. I saw a statistic on Match of the Day at the weekend. We've actually scored the same amount of goals as last season, and we've conceded one more, I believe, at the same stage after 20 games. But we're obviously, I think, about 15 points worse off. So it's still there. The principle of Ange Ball is still there. But our issue is we need to take it to that next step now. And it's a big week for Spurs. Obviously, we've got Liverpool in the League Cup. I will be going to that. If you're there, come and say hello. Or if you see me, come and say hello. And then we've got Tamworth in the FA Cup, which, they're the lowest ranked side, so anything could happen. But this is what I find really interesting. And just to sort of sum it up, you can tell that I was watching some clips on talkSPORT, who I work for, and the debate between Rory Jennings and Abbi Summers about Tottenham and Ange Postecoglou was one of interest.
At the minute,
So
they're
it's not going
they're
well.
backs against the wall at the moment. You know, you've lost 10 games this season already. We're in the first week of Jan. It's not acceptable when you look at it like that. The home form is unacceptable, as is the away form. But I have seen so many managers come to the end of their tenure at Tottenham, right, where the players have down tools. I told you earlier, I'm not seeing that at the moment. I have seen where their heads get to as managers. Okay, look at the absolute breakdown that Antonio Conte had. Jose also throwing his toys out the pram. Ange is on his way there because that's what this club will do to you. It will eventually break you.
At some point, though, Abby,
it's not
it's
there
his responsibility.
Yeah.
At some point, it's not the club will do this to you. It's your
But the club will do
tactics
this
and
to
your tactics, your decision making, your personality is doing this to you.
yet. Okay, so we blame that with all the managers,
Yeah,
all
but-
14 that have
to
come
a
before
degree,
him.
because to a degree I do, but equally it's different for Postecoglou because Antonio Conte doesn't have anything to prove. Antonio Conte is a proven winner, one of the best managers in my opinion that Chelsea have ever had. He won 3 Scudettos in a row. Jose Mourinho's legendary status is secure. Ange Postecoglou came here with a point to prove, with a slight chip on his shoulder. He told us that Tottenham were going to win silverware this year. He told us that he always wins silverware in his second year.
And he still might.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's quite a bold claim when you look at the clubs where he's previously won silverware
But
in his second year.
if the question that was posed to him was about winning something, then he is just answering that question. I don't understand why everyone is so hung up on this. If he was managing at Arsenal, would they be so hung
No,
up
but
on
it's
this?
because of the track record. You know, if he had won silverware in his second year at Leverkusen, and then he'd done the same thing at Wolverhampton Wanderers,
But
and then
you can only talk about the places that you've actually managed.
yeah, absolutely. But it has to be relevant to the conversation. When you're managing in the Premier League, the hardest league, the world's biggest league, when you're managing what you've previously achieved at the Whittlesea Zebras is irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant.
So nasty.
It's true though, isn't it? Genuinely, winning silverware in your second year at the Yokohama Marinos means nothing to your Premier League.
Did you have to Google who he managed before you came in, or did you know that in your head?
I
from
knew
doing
that
previous-
one. The
Rory
Whittlesea.
hates
I
that.
often
It
go
sounds
to
like
the
a made-up
Whittlesea-
team name, that one, by the way. The
Whittlesea
Whittlesea
Zebras.
Zebras.
He won silver in his second season at the Whittlesea Zebras.
Also, Abs, you talked about this isn't Spurs down in tools. When they do eventually down tools, you
you'll
might get
know.
relegated
You'll know
because
about
you're currently struggling
You'll know
to
about it.
maintain a place in the top half of the table. If they down tools, you lot could get relegated.
They're
So
12th.
that's
They're 12th. They're
insane.
12. They've lost 10. They've won 7. Like they're losing more than they've
And
won
that's
by
them-
a
and-
tragic.
And that's them playing for the manager. Wait till they don't play for the manager. I would love to see where
Well, you'll
Spurs
see
are
it.
then.
You'll see it.
Because do you
I'm
know
sure
what,
you'll
Abby?
see
Right,
it.
20 games, 24 points. It
Yeah,
won't
it's
be
not-
the
it's
case.
not
It won't be the
acceptable.
case this season. I'm not even suggesting for 1 second that you're in a relegation fight. You're absolutely not. But you know, when we were young,
Yeah.
that kind of points tally does see you relegated.
Yeah,
like
of course.
you're currently accruing a points tally that, like West Ham were relegated that year with what, 42?
Yeah.
I don't think you hit 42. On current trajectory, that's what you're
Spurs do
going to go
get
for.
40 points, Rory.
I don't think you go down. I don't think
when
you go
everyone is
down.
back
But
fit, when everyone is back fit, and at the moment you're looking at, again, you're asking an 18-year-old kid who actually has probably been better than Dragerson, to be fair. Archie Gray has done a very good job there. You are at the bare bones of a lot of your squad. There is so many games. There is hardly any time to rotate, any time to rest that squad. And I understand they are massively underperforming, but there are also other circumstances.
I just can't
If when
believe
they
where
come
you
back,
are. West
I
Ham
can.
United
I
have been
can.
having a pitiful season. Their fans are up in arms.
Yeah.
Lopetegui, you're a point above them.
Yeah.
And
United are even below that.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't care about my opinion on Ange, but I've lost faith in him because he's a man that was very forthright in his opinions, right? And when he brought in, or when Fraser Forster had to come into the side, he defended him vehemently, saying, "I don't need my goalkeeper to be Platini." But he's clearly shown in his decision making and your decision making in the transfer window that he does need goalkeeper to do something. So he's not a man that's standing on business or standing on his word. I don't know if his word means.
Do you think that is though a message from the club when he said Fraser Forster's here, we don't need another goalkeeper? And I do genuinely believe if Fraser Forster now hadn't got injured or whatever, been out ill.
Can I ask you that
it should-
question though?
wh-
Your
what?
thoughts on that is very interesting.
From the manager or from the board?
So you asked Kwaku there.
Yeah.
Do you think that's him saying something on behalf of the board?
Yeah, I do.
That's
I do.
terrible. If you believe that means effectively he's a mouthpiece for Enoch.
I think there's been a lot of that in most of the managers, and I think the two managers that haven't been that, in Jose and Conte, look what happened.
If Postecoglou is,
I
and
don't
I
think-
don't
I-
think you're wrong here, but if we're kind of acknowledging that Postecoglou is a yes man for Enoch,
Then we're in
this
the
is
final
bad
days.
news,
I
and
think
he won't be
he's.
sacked.
I think he's a yes man to an extent.
And finally, to wrap it up, now I've seen a lot of people in my comments, and I want to address this, saying about sack Ange, just sack Ange. That's all that's said. And then I always ask the question, who do we replace him with? And I saw a list and some of the names like Iraola, Marco Silva, Kieran McKenna, Erdin Terzic, to name a couple. I still think with these managers, you swap them out, you might have a little bounce, but we still go in that circle, that Tottenham circle of never really going to that next level. And I don't know who the manager is to take us to that next level. I hope it's Ange. It might not be. I might be wrong. But I don't think those managers do either, especially under this ownership. Nothing will change, and I keep saying that I sound like a broken, stuck record. Nothing will change until Levy changes. I thought he might have when Ange came in. He did back him slightly, but it is not good enough. And I'll say that massive hats off to, Dominic Solanke's been good, Kulusevski, Archie Gray in previous games, but we need a lot more. We need a lot more to support this side, and I'm hoping to see it in January, but it's going to be a long, tough month to see if these managers are backed or this manager's backed, the players are, backed. Because it's going to, I think, if I predict how we're going to finish this season in the league, I think we probably will finish about mid-table. Because you look at Fulham, you look at Bournemouth, you look at those sort of tables in that middle of the park, Nottingham Forest. They're on fine form. Newcastle now as well. Haven't lost him. I think they've won 5 in a row. We're not on the same level. We're not going to close the gap. I think I had a Newcastle fan in my comments saying, do you think you're going to close the gap on us? It's 11 points. I can't see that happening. I can see the chasm widening. But when we get our players back from injury, when we signed a new goalkeeper in Kinski, I think that's a good signing. Brandon Austin had a good game, which was good to see as well for Tottenham. I still think that this is the right manager to help us in the long term. This season, right off the league. Still got a chance in the Cups. We're going to have to give Liverpool a good game. Tamworth is the start of a tricky FA Cup run and the Europa League. We mop up those final few points, hopefully, and we should hopefully go far in those cup competitions and maybe even win them. I'm not sure yet, but maybe. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Are you still backing Ange Postecoglou or have you given up? And tell me, if you've given up on him, what do you want to see happen? Who do you want? How do you see it going? Let me know all your thoughts. And yeah, as I say, if you have enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Ciao.